Welcome to the program Power to Unite with Elvira. Alam po, the past 2 weeks, marami na po tayo na interview at nakakatuwa po kasi these are not ordinary Cambodian people, you know, at bakit sila nagsakripisyo to be here in Cambodia at bakit nila minahal ang mga bata. Kasi doon po natin nakikita na talagang may puso sila, no, for the children. Ito po nangyari dahil po sa tulong ng ating embassy dito po, no, sa Phnom Penh, Kingdom of Cambodia. And sino itong kausap namin? I'm very proud na nakilala ko po siya. None other si Myca Magnolia Fischer. Siya po currently charges the affair ng Embassy of the Republic of the Philippines here po in Phnom Penh, Kingdom of Cambodia. So, ano ang role niya? Bakit napili natin siya at na-convince, please, ma-interview natin at anong pag-uusapan namin? Charge the affair, Myca. So, can I call you Myca?
Yes, please.
Kasi wag na yung charge the affair. Alam mo, ayaw ko din ng protocol, but sometimes sa introduction, we need to. Anyway, thank you so much for giving Power to Unite a chance to know you, to understand you, and also, you know, to listen to you, how to inspire the Filipino youth to join the Department of Foreign Affairs. I know it's not very easy, but we owe a lot to you kasi hindi po mangyayari itong success na nakikita ko, yung support na binigay ng embassy because you personally handle it. You call all the embassy, the 10 ASEAN embassy, at pag may occasions, ni-whisper mo, don't forget about this Third Southeast Asia Beach Festival for Children. At ikaw din nag-invite ng mga well-known personality na doon ko nakita. Being a foreigner, minahal nila ang ating bansa because pala merong link, you know, yung pagiging refugee at paano natin sila inalagaan. Anyway, we wanted to know what inspired you. Why did you choose to be in the foreign affairs na alam natin, malaking challenge po ito. Career po kayo. Dumaan kayo sa maraming step. May exam, may written, may interview, you know. Tapos, kailangan talaga dito. Lakas ng loob, di ba? So, what inspired you to join the foreign affairs?
Yeah, first of all, welcome, Ms. Elvira, to the Philippine Embassy, and thank you for this opportunity to be in your show. And well, we were very happy to help Anak TV in organizing the festival. We believe in your cause, in your advocacy. We are very proud that we have such a foundation, something that other countries can emulate. And I know that you're already starting the fires, to spread the fire among Southeast Asian countries. And I think this is a very admirable cause, and something that's why we have decided to go all out to assist you in whatever way we can. And so we're very certain that the festival will be successful. Well, it may interest you to know that actually I wanted to become a diplomat since I was 12 years old.
Ah, okay.
So why? Well, no one in my family was a diplomat. It's just that my mother was a teacher.
Okay.
Actually, teacher in Thailand in a postal training center. So she was working in the post office, and she was seconded to a training center in Bangkok. And there, I saw our Philippine ambassador. Her name was at that time she was charge also. She was Rora Navarro Tolentino.
Yes.
And I just saw how graceful she was and how eloquent, and I said, I think I want her job. So at 12 years old, I already wanted to be a diplomat and to represent the Philippines. And eventually, I realized that it's really because I wanted to serve the Filipino people. So I took the exam, but I entered the DFA as a contractual. I didn't pass initially the exam, but when I took it actually several times. When I did pass it, I have to tell you that I prayed more than I studied during that time. So I knew it wasn't my effort really, it was God's will. Because I prayed to Him, I prayed to God and said, if you let me pass, then I will serve you in my capacity as a diplomat, as a Philippine diplomat. You also have not heard that time we actually had the record of having only 3 passers out of 3,000.
Wow.
So people were saying, "Oh, you must be a genius." And in my mind, I knew I wasn't a genius because I didn't pass the several times before. But I knew that I prayed. And then 8 years after, actually, I realized how the Holy Spirit worked in this particular instance. Because it turned out that there was only one person who passed. And so when the Board of Foreign Service examination informed our Secretary of Foreign Affairs that there was only one passer, he got upset. And he said, "What? We spent so many, like millions of pesos, and then only one passed. That's a waste of taxpayers' money." So the board then, so the secretary asked the board, "What if we lower the grade? The passing grade was 80 to 79. How many would pass?" And then the board then said there would be 3. So they lowered the passing score to 79. And then, so there were 3 of us who passed. But in the end, the other one who benefited decided not to join the service. So that decision only benefited me. So I knew it's divine intervention. And I am always reminded of the promise I made to God that I will serve Him by serving our people, by serving the country. So it is with this purpose in mind that I wake up and enjoy my job, because it's actually not a job. For me, it's a calling.
Marunong ang Diyos. Alam niya sino ang sincere, sino yung dapat. At hindi mo kinakahiya.
Yes,
and this will give Filipino youth not to give up. If, Miss Myca didn't give up, wala tayo ngayon. At doon natin makikita, pag bumaksak ka, pwede ka pa tumayo. And you lead a very exemplary life na how it is to trust God. To trust yourself, give yourself a chance, diba? So, ano bang natapos po ninyo sa college?
My undergraduate was actually tourism, and then my master's in international studies.
Nung nakapasok ka na, where is your first assignment?
Foreign assignment. I was posted to the Philippine Embassy in Beijing for 6 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so this is my second posting in Cambodia, and I'm on my 5th year here, and so I'm scheduled to return to the DFA next year. Yeah.
So, antabayan po ninyo ang pababalik ng Power to Unite with Elvira at pakinggan ninyo ang magandang kwento ni Consul Charge d'Affaires Myca Fischer. So yung first experience mo, na-assign ka na ba agad nung nakapasa ka o training muna sa local? Kasi ang daming protocol yan
of course. Since I wanted to become a diplomat since I was 12, I needed someone, I knew I needed to have a husband who's willing to go with me, to be flexible. So at that time, so upon passing the exam, I could actually have left after 2 years of passing, but we decided to stay on because my husband was in the Philippines, and I needed to invest in our marriage. In the Philippines, in the foreign service, the women, many are either single or separated. So because it's very difficult to have a career and a family life, you cannot have the best of both worlds. Some have to make the sacrifice, and so I'm very blessed to have both, a very understanding and flexible husband. So in the beginning, he said, "Okay, let's stay in the Philippines." He had a good corporate job, so we stayed for a while, and then it was in 2006 then when he said, okay, we're ready to go on foreign posting. So that's when we left for Beijing in 2006.
And he is a foreigner?
Yeah, he's German. He's German.
It's good that he understands that, because as you said, it's very difficult to mix family life with your career. I've seen, it's not only in the Philippines, but with other embassy, because when I was still student, I go out with them. I listen to them. I understand their life, Yeah. So children are the ones suffering. So they will say, Papa, Mama, why is it that after nurturing friendship with the local people, the 4 years we have to leave, and then we will start again another, So it's not very healthy for children.
Yeah.
And the wife, if he's just a wife, then he has to pack, he has to everything, adapting to the local culture. So this is not a prestigious job, but it has to be because you love serving your country, that you can contribute something. That's why you are there. So you said you are blessed that a husband is there to support you, and I'm glad to hear about it. Of course, not everything is given. You have to work hard, the understanding, the friendship, the relationship has to be nurtured, And you are also doing what you can, right? So from the Beijing, what did you learn? How hard it is considering language?
It was 2006 to 2012. I saw China change. The people, the diplomats, the Chinese diplomats, they changed. They became more assured and self-confident, and basically it is because of the Beijing Olympics. It's like their debut, their coming out party.
Okay.
So, and then it was very successful, and China was very, and also during the world economic and financial crisis in 2008, Beijing was standing strong. So, they had reason to be proud and confident. So I saw the change. And one thing I learned was that I learned it actually from another diplomat who emphasized to me the importance of people-to-people relations. So when I was in Beijing, I handled actually the cultural section of the embassy, and in China, culture is very important. So we were going around provinces to introduce the Philippine culture. We initiated a program called Ni Hao Philippines.
Ni Hao, yes.
Yeah, so we
yes.
went to different schools, and then we introduced to them the Philippine culture. We told them how we greet. We did the mano, and we played Filipino games. We shared with them some of our Filipino delicacies. So because they hardly know the Philippines, and what they hear on the media is not always
The
positive.
right one,
yeah, the right
yes,
one. So
yes.
and so it was our task to tell them about who we are as people, and how we are very relational. We're very warm and friendly people. So this was my goal as a cultural officer in Beijing.
So don't you feel tired traveling from one place to another, considering China is so huge?
Well, well, I don't think I felt ever tired, because for me it's a job that I like. So it's something that you just take the good with the bad, but it's mostly good. And in Beijing, I also did assistance to nationals. It was a very rewarding experience, as always. The opportunity to help your kababayan who is in distress, and so it's something that not everybody has, to be able to touch another person's life. And I remember, because I was a new officer, a new diplomat, and I visited one person in jail he was illegally working in China. So he was guilty of this. So the embassy really couldn't do much, because he needed to serve the sentence.
Yes, yes.
So we just needed to make, of course, make sure that his rights are protected, the right, so I was there, I said, but I did pray with him, and to give him courage and hope that, you know, this too will pass. And then he wrote this was before Facebook time, but he wrote an email to everybody saying that this was the highlight of his stay in prison, that I actually prayed with him. This is not, you know, this was just, it just came naturally. I didn't, but I guess it was the Holy Spirit who prompted me to tell me that this is what he needed to hear.
Your presence encouraged him to see hope.
That's true.
That, who knows, his sentence might be commuted later on, you know, because working there illegally is not actually a strong or criminal act. He did not kill anybody. Yeah. Maybe he just took the courage to work. But anyway, the prayers encourage him that God is still with him. And I think that's a beautiful gift. And for a Filipino people who serve sentence in there and see that the embassy cares for them means a lot. Mm-hmm. You give them hope that he's not alone. The word was, he's not alone, just like what God said, you will never be alone because I'm always with you. This is what is the message you sent out. And that's why he accepted it wholeheartedly that somebody cares. So your gestures, because you said earlier, it's human-to-human relationship, counts a lot. This is how you self-stock our country. You go out and visit university, introduce our culture, our dance, our way of life, which, you know, they started to learn us. They love the Philippines because they know we are very gentle people. We don't meddle in politics, but we care about them. And I think that's why maybe, you know, there are now many Chinese coming to our country because they feel at home, you know, with us. Right. And we always welcome anybody, you see. So what you did is something that it's God's will, your mission, you know, and you were able to mix it, you know, very well. It's blending is very well, and you true to your promise. You did not forsake, you know, just because you were there, you will forget your promises, but you proved to God, this is the reward that I receive from you. I will do my best to encourage people, to inspire people that hold on to their faith. So from Beijing, so what else do you learn, you know?
In Beijing?
Yes.
In Beijing, well...
It's so big, you know.
Well, Beijing is not China. This is one thing I learned.
Okay.
So, Beijing is not even the microcosm of China. So it's so the whole China is so varied, so different from each other, and it's wrong to generalize and to stereotype.
It's just only the capital.
Yes.
But Miss Myca, you know, so maybe because I think we will have a beautiful discussion of your discovery, the beauty of China, you know, we will come back. Magbabalik po ang Power to Unite with Elvira sa magandang kwento po ni Miss Myca ng Philippine Embassy here in the Kingdom of Cambodia. Miss Myca, natutuwa ako na at least yung diverse experience mo, you know, yung pagiging cultural sector mo, tapos, diba, yung pagdalaw mo, yung na-involve ka sa prison, pinakita mo, hindi mo sila papabayaan, that the embassy cares, that the embassy has big heart. Kasi sa ngayon, yung nangyari sa Middle East, ang daming bansa po, yun ang common complaint. At I have been in Kuwait several times at mabigat. Because I have seen the pain in the mga OFW, kung paano sila inapi, kung paano sila ano. So, alam ko po yung situation. Sa Malaysia, meron din ganun situation. So, napakahirap because kung di ka very strong in your faith, hindi mo kakayanan yung mga story nila. Ako, no in-interview ko, parang ayaw ko na kasi pati ikaw affected. Sabi ko, kawawa naman itong mga fellow Filipino OFW na ganun ba talaga ang trato sa kanila, something like that. But the labor attaché was very helpful, very prayerful. So aside from, because he said, this is the most important, Beijing is not China. That China is so huge. So your discovery, parang very educational, no?
Yeah, it's also a realization kasi nga, minsan if you are in Beijing, you realize na, you tend to think na yung mga Chinese, ganyan sila kayayaman, ganyan sila. But it's not true. I mean, there's also a big income gap in other parts in China. So, yung culture nila, it's also diverse. So, hindi lang yung Northern Chinese is totally different in the way they think, the way they express themselves from the people in Southern China. So, yun. So, I guess it opened my mind. So, dun sa richness, not only of the culture, but of the people.
So, dapat dito, hindi lang basta nakikinig, kailan nagbabasa ka pa rin for you to understand, no? So, every day pala, while you were stationed there for 6 years, talaga you have to understand the differences from one region to another kasi napakalaki. At tama ka, iba-ibang karakter, iba-iba ang environment. So we were concentrate on Shanghai and Beijing and Fujian, but actually sa ibang area, hindi natin masyado napapansin, pero iba pa rin. Diba, parang very probinsyano pa rin sila, but people sometimes are very nice, no?
Yes.
So, napakaganda nitong sharing mo, pero I hope, Miss Myca, meron pa tayo isang part because marami pa po tayong dapat pag-usapan. At alam niyo po, di ba, this is the first time, I already interviewed several ASEAN diplomat, several ASEAN ambassador, and the first time that nakita ko po, pwede pala i-mix at gamitin yung trust mo kay Lord in your career. Hindi po siya pwedeng maging sagabal. At alam natin, inami po ni Miss Myca, she is there right now sa Foreign Affairs because of God's and the Holy Spirit will, no? Kaya kung napakinggan ninyo ang kanyang love story with the Lord, I think ma-inspire din kayo to join the Foreign Affairs. Huwag po tayo matakot madapa, kasi po, tutulungan po tayo ng Diyos. We need to pray to them, to call, kasi yun pong ginawa niya. Ilang beses po siya napalpak, pero dahil sa dasal niya, nakapasa siya. It's divine intervention. Sana nagustuhan po niyo yung episode namin. Antabayan po ninyo ang part 2 natin kasi marami pa po isi-share si Miss Myca Fischer sa atin ng Embassy of the Republic of the Philippines here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia.